5th, 2025. My apologies. I was doing a read and somebody rang the phone, so I went ahead and declined and then turned it to airplane mode, so hopefully that won't happen again. I got a couple cards out here. I'm going to go ahead and catch you up on what's going on. We've got justice. So there are court proceedings happening right now. Things are being made fair. The truth is being exposed, and we've got abundance and opportunity here. So things are being made fair regarding the prosperity. In the challenge position, we've got the star here, standing up for themselves, offering protection, perhaps persevering through some kind of a illusion that's going on. So the star is shining a light on the truth, trying to protect somebody or something. In the subconscious, we've got the Hierophant here. Could be a high level spiritual guide and counselor. Could be the Most High God. Three of Wands. Moving forward. Moving forward. This is an enterprise. Plans are in motion. In the recent past, we've got the King of Cups. So love of divine masculine is here. And in the sun energy, so a rebirth and a victory. Massive light. Public recognition. So yeah, we've got the King of Cups, love of this is a love of divine masculine. He's in this sun energy. It's a rebirth and a victory, public recognition. So there could be another story out there. We've got strength here in the intentions and expectations. And it came out again, strength. And it came out also with the World card, completion. So, King of Cups, whether this be a particular King of Cups, a sun, take it as it resonates. Now, this is, long ago, somebody was unalived because people said that he was a liar and all of that other stuff, okay? And I think they're talking about Jesus or whatever name you want to call, okay? Yahshua, Yeshua. The sun is victorious here. Strength times 2, bringing about a completion to this cycle. I heard this curator talking yesterday that this was his story. So it looks to me like he's being recognized. Near future, we've got the 10 of Wands burden. It could be that he's bringing an end to a 10 of Wands burden. This has been a very, very challenging shift. There's been a lot of hard work going on over the last year and a half, especially. So yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, I had a vision of a meadow, a big meadow, surrounded by really tall, beautiful fir trees and such. And in the meadow, there were like 8 or 9 figures, but you couldn't see flesh or hair or features. All you could really see is light. And they were obviously bipeds, and they had swords raised. It's like pointing at the sky. They were down there. So it was like an army of light like landed in this meadow, and it could very well be loving divine masculine sons gaining a victory here. Strength times 2, courage times 2, and the world card. Here in the near future, we have, this could be a completion of the heavy burden that you have been under regarding this conflict. These abusive relationships. The lens that's being looked through is you've got judgment. Judgment. Page of Pentacles. We'll get more clarification. In the environment, we've got the 10 of Cups. Total love and support. Blissful relationships. Divine love. Family. Contentment. And not this chaos that everybody's been under for decades. Generations. Star. So the stars are coming together. The stars and the suns, the light-bearing people, the luminaries, are here. Total love and support. 10 of Cups unions. There is rejuvenation, revitalization. So it could be that the revitalizers are together here in the loving unions. Very strong together. Very strong together. There's been a lot of manipulation and illusions that have been, that somebody's been trying to cast. Yeah, so the strength of 2 together, and then we've got betrayal. So they're dealing with betrayal. Dishonesty. So they're dealing with this, and maybe they're shedding light on the trickery and the betrayal that has happened to them and tried to keep them separated. They survived, they've lifted, they've been risen. They're presenting their testimony in the court about this betrayal, this deception that they have been under, and that others tried to accuse them of and get them convicted of, and then seen as unworthy for. So this is some nasty, nasty business. We've got a tower, a complete falling apart of this competition, this chaos. Nine of Wands. Again, you've got courage here, resilience. Your boundaries are up. You're very persistent here. So there's a sudden change for those who were in competition with you, and your boundaries are up. Maybe they need to find courage. They need to find some sort of courage. Or they're in a tower because of your courage, because your boundaries didn't crumble. You are very strong here in your position. You're not alone. We've got friends from high places here in support of the living and the truth. It's wonderful. Got some of my lavender here. I love that. It's woman's medicine. According to my indigenous sister, the lavender is the woman's medicine. It brings a softness, a beauty, and a special touch to the healing properties of the smoke. And it smells nice too. right, so on the bottom of the deck, again, we've got lovers. Oh, yeah. The lovers. The lovers are here. Somebody's getting disappointed. So the lovers are there, the strength of 2, and then somebody's getting left behind here. They're withdrawing. They're leaving. They're walking away. The past needs to be put where it belongs. The strength of 2, the lovers, they're putting the past where it belongs, in the past. There's a celebration here for a King of Pentacles. Authority. Some sort of a discipline. But we do have somebody here wanting to come in with a proposal so that they can create conflict like they do. But we've got this King of Wands here who's persevering, still working very, very hard to get that, Leah. Swords up, swords up. No, thou shalt not cross. Okay, they're in a freaking nightmare because you're getting the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles because you were able to balance yourself, Divine Feminine. And so, yeah, they're in regret. They're in regret. They got to move on, man, because the Empress, they're getting disconnected from the Empress and High Priestess energy. These pages, these knights, these guys have been coming in, you know, and love bombing and gaslighting and treating people like prostitutes. They're getting disconnected from the Empress and High Priestess energy for heinous crimes. They've been utilizing this sacred wisdom of Divine Feminine to mutate, twist, and hurt people. And they had no business having access to that mental, intellectual property that was divinely connected. They were too young, they had no morals, no ethics, and they felt that they deserved everything, that they were owed whatever it was they wanted. Why? Because they're a masculine without purpose. Irresponsible and cruel. So justice is here. Things are being made fair when it comes to the abundance. Honesty. The truth is here. The abundance goes to those who are honest, who even though the whole world was lying about them and to them, they were telling the truth. They had the truth within them, even though everything around them and everyone around them was lying and lying about them. So the abundance is going to the people who are honest. They've always expressed the truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly, holding themselves accountable, displaying everything vulnerably, and allowing the authorities to say, you know, judge it honestly, whatever. You're not hiding. You're not trying to trick anybody. You're not trying to get away with something. You're genuinely looking at yourself authentically. The challenge is we've got the star here, protected, defense, maintaining control, standing up for yourself. So the stars, the luminaries, are standing up for themselves. They got the truth, man, and they're not messing around. There's protection, yep, and trust. Trust. I accept that the inner voice will always guide me correctly. And they have, and it did. The Hierophant is here, moving forward, making preparations. This could be an enterprise. It could be worldwide. There's something going on, and somebody's afraid. Somebody's in fear. Because the Hierophant is moving forward with this law of cause and effect, with this justice. and this Judgment. King of Cups, love of divine masculine. He's in his sun energy. He could be a magnificent luminary. And he's got this Six of Wands here. Public recognition, victory, success. Knowing that there's no greater goal than to love. Strength times 2. So courage, compassion, like mega, like double, like twice as much as your normal saint holds. This person or this collective of divine masculine is like massive in their spiritual prowess. Bringing about an end to this cycle. Looking at the lighter side of life, restoring joy. And we've got a 10 of Wands, burden for a 5 of Swords conflict. It could be that this is a completion of the conflict, or it could be that there is a heavy burden for those who brought you conflict. No, we got freedom on the bottom of the deck. You're free of it. You're free of it. Divine Masculine has messed these ones up. They're being left alone. So there's a 10 of Wands burden for those who were trying to mess you up. The bully has been defeated, and they gotta face lonely. The envious ones have to face loneliness. They gotta leave you alone. Judgment is being called. Page of Pentacles. So there's news, information. Judgment is being called on what? Skill development. Did you learn anything? Did you try to learn anything? Were you adding value to your soul? Were you learning as much as you could about as much as you could? Or were you just trying to check out how you could screw somebody over and take what they've earned? I don't know what's going on. Judgment is here. Blame is in the reverse. So this Page of Pentacles is like they're not able to blame anybody for whatever it is that they've done. These younger masculines that were RAPing the mental body of the High Priestess Empresses, they should not have had access to this wisdom. It was a bad thing. 10 of Cups, but then mind you, Page of Pentacles, it's not necessarily just a younger. Some of these old people are young people, like a young, selfish, childish individuals in an old man's suit. So just take it as it resonates. 10 of Cups is here. Total love and support, divine love for the stars, for the rejuvenator and revitalizer of life, the healer, those healers who have grown and expanded in consciousness and awareness. You have a lot to offer this new chapter. We've got the Lovers here. The strength of 2 together is what? What's going on with that? They're dealing with this betrayal with the 7 of Swords. So they're dealing with this deception, this dishonesty. These people who aren't grateful for nothing. Hopes and fears. They're shining a light on it. The strength of 2 together. They're dealing with this trickery and fraud. This disloyalty, this ungratefulness. They weren't thankful for anything. They were just taking it violently and brutally, and they didn't care how much pain they were bringing into the world. They're in a tower for this rivalry. You are resilient. Your boundaries are up. You are in your purpose. There's a change here, and these people are being denied. So they're receiving denial. The change is that these ones who are bringing conflict to you, they're receiving denial, and there's death. This is over. We're moving into relationships that serve the highest and greatest good. Those who are abundant, limitless beings, these stars, you've got the star and the star. So the star is here, maintaining control. The 10 of Cups union is for the star. Those who have grown Those who decided to just fight and be a bitch, you know, and not work on adding value to their soul, or be honest or authentic or truthful or compassionate, yeah. They got to accept the things that cannot change. Your courage is here. They have to surrender the need to control you. You are free of them. Why? Because you persevered, because you were honoring the physical vessel that enshrines your soul. And even though these ones were poisoning you, toxifying you, running thoughts and rhetoric that were not yours through your mind, trying to put blockages and squeeze the love, you know, of your heart center, your heart, you know, they wanted to put you in this unworthiness energy, you know, dumping black energy into you, polluting the minds of everybody around you to try to drop you into some kind of argument or whatever. Man, it was just crazy. You're very empathic. Your mind is so freaking beautiful and balanced. You bring a sense of harmony and balance wherever it is you go. These ones have failed. It could be they failed because of your patience. You were waiting on divine timing and you knew that it was going to come. You know, the only thing that was ever asked of me was, and not even asked, I was just reminded, patience, patience, patience. That was a number of years ago. So I took a deep breath and I continued waiting, you know. So that patience brought failure, because right now it's all coming to a head. These ones are in grief over your discipline. You know, the fact that you can do whatever, you can set your intentions and you can accomplish it. And this, during the adversity, it's like they didn't think, it's like, how did you do it? They're in grief over your discipline, over the fact that you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. In the face of this adversity, they were all coming after your happiness. But you are here in service to the collective. You're here as happiness, to spread happiness, to share happiness. This group is a bunch of happiness haters. Their task was to destroy families and happiness, to pluck love out of everybody's heart. And now they're having doubt because they've been found guilty. They're under judgment by their friends, and they're worried and in regret. It could be that they had a bunch of friends that they misled and convinced via lies and other kinds of manipulations. Now they want forgiveness. Now they want peace. And they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. You are love and you're committed to love. They are pride and they are committed to ego. And you have gifts of the soul that benefit you and others. You're in your purpose here. You've got your boundaries up. You're entering into a union with another star. You are a star or a sun, and you're all coming together with this magnificent light. Oh, that vision of those light warriors in that meadow was fantastic. They were so beautiful. The sons, the love, victorious. So, justice is here. Things are being made fair. Fair. I keep saying fear. These ones are in fear. It's like things are being made fair. It's like the law of cause and effect. It's like they're afraid of what they got coming back to them because of what they have, the garden that they grew, man. The fruits of their labor is coming back to them, and it's not good. The truth is out here. Yeah, the truth is out here, and they're in a misfortune. They're having a big misfortune. They're challenged because the star is here with their protection. You know, they're maintaining control. They got their boundaries firm. They trust in the inner voice that guides them correctly. They're connected to the divine, to the Most High God. And this curator, these little, human traffickers, buyers and sellers of the life force vitality that belongs to human beings. I mean, this guy is saying that God is the devil, that the Most High light, sun is crazy. He keeps telling his buddies that you have a demon attached to you. And they keep trying to do exorcisms and black magic, sex magic, and trying to dump this nastiness onto you. They keep trying to convince people that you've got a demon in you and that they can just take you out. And it's like he's lying straight through his teeth, and these people know because it's not sticking. It's like, wow, dude, what do you really got going on? He's insane, is what he is. Your enemy is getting the message. They're in a misfortune. God is delivering them some misfortune. They got a lot of fear right now because you got the Hierophant here, and it could be the Most High God, or it could just be the elite love of divine masculine in high places. Take it as it resonates. But they're moving forward with an enterprise, and so this is overseas. It's everywhere, and these ones are in fear. It's like it's progressing, and we got people. I heard this curator say that she, and it could be this Empress, High Priestess, take it as it resonates, was being very protective over somebody in the court system, and apparently they have been found exempt from whatever crime they were being set up with, or somebody tried to pin on them. And I don't know if it was a person or a collective of people. Please take it as it resonates. So they're afraid. It's a misfortune. It's like everything that they've been working so hard to cast an illusion about, to get people convicted and then to claim them and to keep them, to keep harvesting off of them and stuff, it failed. Like, I think a whole collective of people that they were trying to frame and set up and then claim, it failed. They're in a misfortune. They're in fear. It's like this soldier is in fear because the truth is out. The honest truth is out. Whoever this divine feminine is that was being protective over a certain collective, these guys are upset, man. Because I think the High Priestess Empress knows the truth of it. Star. We got King of Cups. This is the love of divine masculine, the true divine masculine. It could be the actual sun that these ones red-rummed and convicted a long time ago. Now, I don't know. He's back, and he's victorious. He's successful. He knows that there's no greater gold than the love. We got strength out here times 2. Freaking dude is on fire. My goodness. Well, I don't know which way that came out. I'm just going to put that back because it didn't land on the table. Scholar. So he's successful. He knows there's no greater goal to love. And I hear him singing sometimes, and it sounds very Latinish, like that music they used to sing in the Catholic Church when they first started. They sang in Latin and stuff and prayed in Latin. And when he sings, it sounds very much like that. But in a different language. Or a combination of languages. So we've got strength times 2, focusing on the lighter side of life, completing the cycle, moving back into a happy time. So we've got frivolity, and humor. So we're very strong. Looking on the lighter side of life, people are getting their wings. He's got his wings. There is a 10 of Wands burden here for those who are bringing conflict. They've been defeated, and they are envious, and they're going to be lonely. Sighing. They're really upset by this. Judgment is here on a Page of Pentacles. They're not able to blame anybody anymore. They got to get out of the mental body of these high-level divine high priestesses and empresses. They've been I think they're being accused of hijacking intellectual property of the divine feminine and then twisting it and being completely unethical, immoral, and brutal with it. Death. Death. 10 of Cups is here. Total love and support for the star, for the healer, for the revitalizer. Because you've grown in consciousness and awareness. You're shining brightly. You definitely are part of that sunshiny collective. This is so wonderful. All you guys are coming together. You beautiful, bright, vibrant beings. Look, we got priest. Maybe you're the new priest. Maybe you're the new guide for families. We got the lovers here. Hopes. Oh, there's a priest. So you got a priest present. We've got the lovers here. The strength of two together are dealing with trickery and fraud. People who were not grateful for anything. And we've got child. They weren't grateful for a child. It could be that you were this priest child. Maybe this priest wasn't grateful for the children. The read last night said they were not helping families. They were not guiding them and assisting them in growing in consciousness and awareness, getting closer to God. They were not doing their job. So they were committing fraud because they were not grateful for the children. And now they're praying to the Lord. Now they're praying to the Lord. Oh, I'm sorry, forgive me. The things that they've been doing to the children in this world, this enterprise, this religious system or whatever, they were not guiding them correctly. In fact, these children had been their target and their victim. They're in a tower. What, they were in competition with children? With the children of loving people? Wow. Pleasure seekers. Those pleasure seekers are in a tower. And it could be because they were, these young women, they were marrying young women and then replacing them, selling them to the merchant. They were marrying stars. For a house. And now they're sick because the stars are reunited. They actually made it. They actually rose and they were able to come together. So now this person is in a mental prison or they're in an actual prison. And they're very sad over these lovers coming together. They can't stop thinking about how happy everybody is, how hopeful they are, what this fortune. These guys had a hope to gain the fortune of these earth angelics, these star beings, these sun beings, these light beings. They're in a surprise. They got a message from the doctor. It could be a surprise, a big surprise. And we've got widower. So they could be, everybody's sick. They're falling sick. It's not going well for them. And I heard one of these masculines telling a feminine the other day, replace you. So they marry these beautiful women and men. Take it as it resonates, but it's. I've been hearing the masculine threatening the feminines, being so freaking foul, disrespectful, nasty, self-entitled POSs. I don't care how they think of it. masquerading as though they were men of God, you know. Intentionally sabotaging people, and then telling the people that they were sabotaging their own damn self for talking freely, for acting freely, for being happy, for being in their purpose, you know, for bucking the system, for whatever, for daring to live authentically. So the truth is out. We've got the justice here. The law of cause and effect is in order. Regarding the Ace of Pentacles, those who are honest, even when the whole world lied about them and lied on them and lied to them and whatever, their future is in a freaking misfortune. Yep. The truth is out. It's being made fair. The future is being made fair. Multi-billion-dollar church wasn't an actual church. Or should I say isn't, because in the 3D it still hasn't been called out yet. But it will be. The star is here, protected and defended, maintaining control. The boundaries are firm. They trust the inner voice. They are connected to the Most High God, divine. Family divine. The enemy is getting a letter. They've gotten a letter. There's a growth. There could be a growth, or maybe they're being informed about your growth. They're in a misfortune because you have grown and you were able to stand up for yourself. You did not back down. You did not quit, no matter how brutal they were and how vicious. You did not quit. The Hierophant is here, moving forward. This is an overseas thing. It's a worldwide thing. There's a soldier here that is in fear. We've got uninterested in the reverse. They're in fear because the Hierophant is very much interested in what they've been doing. And they're coming for him. They're coming. They're very interested in this soldier. Come on, soldier. Oh yeah, you're not going to be hiding in the shadows now. No. The King of Cups, the love of divine masculine. Freaking A, man. The Sun. Oh. Victorious. Successful, knowing that there's no greater goal than to love. A scholar, very wise. Loving person. That could be Yeshua. Absolutely. And this is God. These soldiers, these priests, they're so rude. Strength is here ×2. The world is turning. This is the end of that cycle. These people are screwed. So you've got your wings. We're returning to some good stuff. We got envy here. Envy. Somebody wants to undermine your success in order to elevate their own. And that's exactly what these people have been doing to they've been getting these marriage contracts with sweetheart stars, and then they've been replacing them. They say you can't have tattoos, you can't have any markings, identifiable markings. You know, you got to be pristine teeth and all of this so that they can go and replace you at the drop of a hat if they want to. And that's what they've been doing. They didn't have any care at all, no thankfulness, no gratitude for the child of these lovers. They were tricking them, committing fraud, deceiving them, and stealing from them. And now they're praying for forgiveness from the Lord, the Son, who is here right now delivering vengeance. This was an imposter. They thought you were a nuisance, but they felt obligated to associate with you because you were where the money was. High Priestess, Empress, Star, loving masculine. You know, and 2 stars. Now these ones have been dumping chemicals into the food supply to mess with the chemical composition of the temple, which houses the soul and the spirit of divine masculine, for a long time. Canned goods are lined with plastic that is BPA. It's synthetic estrogen. All of the plastic that people put their food in and then throw in the microwave and heat their food up in, it all has synthetic estrogen in it, and they've been messing with the chemical composition of the flesh temple of divine masculine, twisting it, turning it, altering it. Trying to demasculate them so that they would not fight and protect anything, let alone themselves. So judgment is being called on the pages that were using information and skills that were not for them. They're not able to blame anybody for anything. There's death here and they're desperate. 10 of Cups unions, total love and support for the star, for the healer, for the revitalizer. There's growth. They have expanded in consciousness and awareness, and they're saying goodbye to this priest. This priest on last night's reading was being removed from the foundation of families because they were not leading them to God. They were setting them up for failure and then driving them into it hard. Damn bastards. So we got the Lovers here. Okay, the strength of 2 together. These people were betrayed by this system. Okay. These tricksters, these fraudsters did not have any gratitude or thankfulness for the children that were being born to families. And now they're praying to the Lord, oh, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. I did not care about the child. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. These priests were supposed to help the children get closer to God, and be enlightened, to become that. And then, you know, and these guys failed. Now they need a safe space. They need a freaking safe space. They're looking for a date. They've been using dates for entertainment. They date people. They get one-night stands. It's like there's date rape. That stuff has been going on. They've been destroying the star's happiness and energy, defiling it, degrading it in the most brutal fashion, so that they can south node drop kick that person into some place of darkness and then replace them. They're foul, man. And now they're asking the Lord for forgiveness, and the Lord's like, are you kidding? You're getting a tower, pleasure seeker, for bringing all this conflict, for competing with the beautiful child for their purpose. These children were supposed to be saints, hierophants, emperors. And these priests were, instead of nurturing them and lifting them into those positions, they were setting them up for failure, driving them into it, and then deceitfully accusing them of crimes and horrendous things that they would not have chosen for themselves. These were destined to be somebody, and these guys, instead of lifting them, they smashed them, crashed them, did everything they could to destroy them. And they had fun. Yeah, it's getting real negative for these pleasure seekers. These liars were collaborating together to destroy families, to destroy the human being, to destroy their purpose. And now there's a lot of yelling. They want to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry for gaslighting and manipulating your mind and the minds of others about you. Oh, woe is me. I'm sorry. You were honest in the past. And they, or maybe you are seen as honest in the past. You told the truth. You've been telling the truth the whole time. And these little jackwagons have been twisting it, turning it, burying you, hurting you, trying to get revenge on you because you dared speak the truth. Goodbye to the priest, who instead of lifting the family and bringing them closer to God, they crushed them and put them in darkness. You've triumphed over natural disasters and conflict. You survived. And you're bringing light to this? Yeah, you survived by being all calm, by maintaining your inner peace. And these people are furious because you love yourself. And they're getting justice for the curses that they have been placing over families. Bastards. Bastards. They're in a misfortune. Their house is burning down. They're getting cast away. They're losing everything. Their future is going to be destitute. They're going to be the new person on the corner holding a damn sign. The star is here standing up for themselves. They are protected. They trust the inner voice that's guiding them correctly, the Most High God. The enemy is getting a letter. Something about growth. They could have a growth. There's something inside of them, growing inside of them. They're having a natural disaster. They got a letter. They could have gotten a letter from the doctor. They were bringing natural disaster and risk to people who were growing, who were destined to grow, who were destined to be somebody important and to leave legacies that would shift communities and all of that. These guys are bad, man. The Hierophant is here, moving forward. This is an overseas thing. This soldier is in fear because of all the interest. It's like, you know what? Yeah, because this says, I prefer to keep focus on my own life, but it's in the reverse. It's like, all the focus is on them, and there's preparations being made right now. They're being managed. They're being organized. They will be taken, moved, placed wherever they need to be moved to. I heard somebody complaining the other night about whatever was happening to them, and Divine Masculine said, this is the energy you feel comfortable in. So, you know, these guys have been working in the shadows in this vile, disgusting, low vibrational, brutal stuff. And so when they get that as a reward, they're like, but wait. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? This is what you enjoy. This is where you've been. This is what you've been doing. I mean, you don't get to go where the star is going because you don't spend any time there. You didn't try to be there or lift people there or do anything. Blind. What do they say about love is blind? Isn't that interesting? When I was young and judgmental, I got a coworker, you know, and I thought, wow, because, you know, some of us, you know, back before you actually grow compassion or consideration for anybody besides yourself, it's always about I. And I was in my, like, 20 or something. gal got hired. She had bad teeth, her breath stunk, and I was like, ew, you know? But she turned out to be one of the most beautiful people that I had ever known. She was like my best friend for 7 years. I learned that it wasn't about I, it was about we. I learned that I was judgmental over stupid, shallow crap. And that was my first experience with expansion as far as mental growth goes. And I think about it nowadays, and I was like, I'm like, ew, God, I was really that way. And it's like, no, that, fortunately for me, that was like 40 years ago. So takes a lot of growth happens in 40 years. And somebody who is in that state, they should not have access to the mind that has done 40 years of expansion, you know, like the Empress High Priestess. These people who are in that state of judging shallowly and convicting people harshly and being cruel for no reason, no real legitimate reason, they should not have access to that power, because they hurt people tremendously with it. It's kind of embarrassing for me to say that. I'm just very grateful that it was 40 years ago and I've really come a long way, but so when I hear people, like I have friends, you know, they're like, you know, they talk about the way people look, their appearances all the time. And, you know, people who aren't they judge harshly. You know, people who don't wear high heels and form-fitting skirts and, you know, getting their hair done all nice and got their nails and whatever. I mean, people who don't do that, people who are wearing Levi's and T-shirts and, you know, digging in the dirt and stuff, there's like a very different mentality for each of those people when it comes to shallow thinking. We got ready. We got the envious are getting ready. There's a 10 of Wands burden for those who were bringing conflict to you. They've been defeated here. They're envious. They're very envious. There's loneliness. So maybe they thought you were alone. They're sighing. You were never alone. They felt obligated to associate with you. They were an imposter. And now they're being rejected. It's like you don't want to have anything to do with them. They're being rejected. They're quitting. Judgment is here on this page. They can't blame anybody for their, they weren't accepting responsibility for what their stuff is. They don't want to take the blame for the stuff that they were doing. There's death here. They're desperate. They really effed up. They could have used this sacred knowledge that they had no business having access to actually unalive people. Families. It could be that their whole family is getting dead. Death, desperate family. This whole family. Ten of Cups, justice. Justice for dominating people, for using this sacred wisdom, for trespassing and stealing the intellectual property of high priestesses and empresses, for punishing them and covering them in blame and shame, for actually using that high level wisdom. These low vibing, very immature, unethical, immoral people were tapping into sacred wisdom with their little bullshit. And they were using that information and their energy. They were tapping into the energy and they were doing shit with that energy and that wisdom as that person, but it was these ones pretending. There is justice happening because they were dominating the mind, the consciousness, and They were using nebulizers on people and then unaliving them into lower states of consciousness and experiences with narcissistic families. You know, that black sheep that doesn't feel like they belong. They feel like they got so much more in them than this low vibing situation they find themselves in. Yeah. It could be that they're desperate for and receiving justice for bringing death to families, for laying their sin and their blame on them. 10 of Cups unions are happening here for the stars. You're coming into your divine love. You have grown in consciousness and awareness. It is very obvious. You're saying goodbye to this priest. They're no longer able to tap your mind. It could be they're no longer part of the land of telepathy. They can no longer access the minds of sacred wisdom keepers. They're vile. And there's evidence. There's evidence of making them sick. Sweethearts. With this black magic, with this black energy, with their nasty little things. The strength of two together, the lovers are here, were betrayed because this priest didn't have any gratitude or thankfulness for the children that were coming forth from them. They were supposed to guide them and lead them to God, but instead they drove them into insanity. They drove them into addictions. They drove them into violence. Anytime that they came into union, they drove them into domestic violence and divorce, and then they convicted them for getting a divorce, for not being able to manage their family. These people had a racket like you wouldn't even believe. Now they're praying to the Lord for using dates as entertainment. They're needing a safe space. They were cursing their dates. They'd go out on a date, have a one-night stand or whatever, and then they were using that energy to be covered, this date, the star. So they'd go get a date with a star, and then they would curse that star and use that energy as a safe space to cover themselves while they were doing all their crap. And then they would blame the energy of the star that they were dressed up in and connected to for doing that kind of stuff. They covered them in the blame for what they were doing. They loved it. The sooner they could tap into that freaking sexuality of people, the better, because that was a cord, and then that meant they owned the energy. They owned the mind. They owned everything, even if it was lifetimes ago. It's terrible. So they're in a tower. These are a bunch of pleasure seekers who are very, very negative. They were hiding their true intentions. They did not care about the well-being of anybody. They're in a tower for competing with innocent children, innocent women, innocent men that were destined for a powerful position and influence in the world. So what they would do is they'd tap that, and then they'd dress up in the energy of that, and then they would do things as that person, and then blame their energy and their life for doing it. That was the only purpose that they had here. The only purpose that they had. But you were resilient. Your faith was tested. And your boundaries are firm. These people that collaborated against you have fallen into a trap for doing magic on the gift, which is you. They were strategizing against and mind reading couples, loving couples. And they did everything they could to curse their lives, to destroy their union, and to curse their children that came from those unions. They are sick about the commitment, perhaps to do you wrong, or perhaps they were committed to making them sick. There's evidence of what they have done to loving people. They're furious about your inner peace during the conflict. You didn't cave. You triumphed over it. You are victorious here. And now these daydreamers who wanted your life, who were dreaming about being you, being in this purpose that you were here to deliver, they want to compromise. And it's like, get out of here. You're at peace, man. And these people, you know what they did? They took a bribe. They took a bribe. They wanted the money and the life and the merit that belonged to you. But they're just lowlifes. Now these prideful people, and especially the coaches, they're in a nightmare. Because you persevered through the impossible. This curator and his buddies said, they put you on an impossibly, you were not supposed to make it. It was impossible. They all swore it was impossible. But somehow you pulled it off. And you know why? Because you trusted the inner voice to guide you correctly. Now, these people are going to be confined because you've reached your goals. You've completed the path, the most difficult path, the impossible path. You completed it, you reached the goals, and now they're being confined. And you're getting a new family tree. You're getting shown mercy, and you're walking into your destiny of a new family tree. You get a whole new family tree. You've lived and you've learned a lot. And these people are being separated from you. And they're mentally disturbed. They are getting supernatural disturbances all over the place. This network of friends is losing everything. And they're in danger. Your alliances are effing them up. You have this beautiful halo, this powerful light energy, and you belong at the top of that hill, that mountain. You made it. And you have a vow. You vowed to care for yourself. You vowed to care for the people in your life. You vowed, you're in a vow. You got spiritual and familial vows here. See, they left you alone and made you sick in the past so that they could rob you. But you survived, and you wound up maintaining homeostasis on the inside so they couldn't make it stick. The story, the illusion. You're okay. You're stable. They're not even men. They can't be men. I don't know who's hiding in that flesh suit, but I don't think it's a real person. It's got to be it's got to be this growth. There's got to be something growing. There's got to be a parasite or something operating that flesh suit, and it's not an actual priest. This curator is trying to convince everybody that you're a demon or you have a demon, that you're connected to the demon. Are you kidding me? They're trying to call this person a demon. Gaslighting projectionists. Liars, man. All they do is lie and set people up. They are experts at dissolving energy, at harvesting it, at putting black energy on people, at siphoning it out. They stab you with the freaking straw and then suck off your freaking life force while making you transmute their death energy. 18 years I had to do that, and followed by 5 years of actually collecting my own essence, my own energy. 18 years before somebody removed that feeding tube. And I was able to collect my energy and, I guess, get prepared for these days. Bad, bad. I don't even want to call them men. You know, they sound like men, they look like men, but what they've been doing with that phallus, that appendage, what they've been doing with their hands, using their voice and their words, using the man voice, the way that they have violated the reputation of the divine masculine and the Most High God, the Heavenly Father, this is so bad. They were supposed to protect the children and bring them to God. mimicry. So their future, in their future, so you, yeah, what's our relationship going to be like in the future? Well, what it's going to be like is you're going to get a whole lot of misfortune and cast away. You're going to be dumpster diving and stuff for pretending that you were somebody else. And I do hope that you forget every ounce of this knowledge that you were using to violate life, man. The star is here, persevered and protected, trusting in God, the Most High God, the inner voice. The enemy is getting a letter. They got a letter. There's a growth inside of them. They need to survive. They could have some kind of a cancer, or they got some kind of a parasitical attachment that is messing them up. We've got waterproof. It's rolling right off of you. It's not sticking to you, and none of this inheritance or wealth is going to stick to them either. They can't touch you now. They're trying to project it out there because they were doing that just night before last. It's not working. It's rolling right off of you. You're protected. Yeah, the Hierophant is here. Could be upper dimensional, divine masculine. Could be the Most High God. Working here on this enterprise. It's an overseas thing. This is worldwide. This soldier, whoever's been this priest soldier, is in fear because of all of the interest that is here now. There is management, a schedule being made. We've got displacement and battle. They're fighting God. What they've done to the children divine, this is terrible. They got a big problem on their hands. They were supposed to be bringing people to God, not trying to destroy them. They wanted to convince the Most High God that these children of light were not what they were cracked up to be. Did not deserve his favor. They're being released. They're being released. This could be a scholar. This could be a scholar that is being made blind, and they're being released by divine masculine, by the true divine masculine, by the sun. Yeah, so these scholar, they're going to lose their knowledge, they're going to lose their information, they're going to lose their life. Strength is here ×2. Looking at the lighter side of life, you've got your wings. There could be actual angels here. And that could have been the light bodies that I saw in the meadow. I mean, these could be actual, like, man, these dudes are in trouble. These freaking dudes are in trouble. Everything they're doing, everything they have done is seen. They're envious. They need to get ready for this Ten of Wands burden for doing all this trickery. They've been defeated. They're envious. They're sighing. There's an imposter here that feels like they don't like you. They think you're a nuisance. They feel obligated to deal with you because you're the one where you're the cash cow, the chattel. They're being rejected. They're being rejected. They're being rejected by you. They're being rejected by the divine. They're being rejected by God. You've got your freedom here. You're withdrawing. You're withdrawing. They felt obligated to associate with you, but they thought you were a nuisance. You're withdrawing. It's like, okay, you don't like me, then I'm out of here. And that's exactly what you got going on here. So there's judgment here. There's a page. So these immature entities posing as men, they cannot blame you anymore for what it is that they've been doing. There's death here. This is over, and they're desperate. There's a whole family that was dominating people with this messed up agenda, and they're receiving justice. Justice is being served. Justice is being served. Man, I'd stay out of it if I were you. I'm definitely staying out of it. It's like, ew, absolutely. I mean, what's been going on here. I was in an astral vision. I went into a house. It looked like one of those schools, those boarding schools where they took the indigenous children to. And there was a door. It had a big lock on it and a big thing, you know, locking it. And up against the door was a sledgehammer. And it was their like skull smashed. It's like that's what they were. I don't want to get into it. Bad men. Bad. So there's anticipation, and nobody cares. There's nobody there to listen. There's nobody there to offer any support. They're anticipating that nobody is going to be there to listen to them. They have lost all status. They have lost all credibility. The Ten of Cups is here. Total love and support for the stars, for the healers, for the rejuvenators, which is who they were going after. These beautiful, bright lights, these children. That they were flipping and, you know, driving into addictions and deviancies. So you've got this Ten of Cups union. You're a star. You've grown in consciousness and awareness. You're saying goodbye to this priest, or this priest is saying goodbye to the imagination. They cannot tap into the telepathy anymore. They're losing all status. They're losing all gifts. They're losing all connections. They can no longer... Look, they're the imagination. We got play and imagination in the reverse. So they're no longer able to play with your mind. Like, your mind is out of the question when it comes to them playing. They were having a great time cursing your mind. The lovers are here, and they were betrayed. They were deceived. There was fraud committed. This priest did not have gratitude for the children that were being born by these families. These innocent children. And now they're needing consolation with the Lord. Oh Lord, please forgive me. They were using dates. They were getting dates with people. They could have had children with people, and they did not care. They weren't thankful for them. I heard one of these masculines say, you know what I hate? I hate my kids. And I think it was this group here. They were dating people for entertainment. They were having intercourse and then perhaps fathering children, and they didn't care about those children. All they wanted was to be covered in the light of those children and those women while they cursed them. While they cursed them with misfortune, and then took their safe space energy, their light, their happiness, their love. Bastard. Heart bonds. They were cursing heart bonds. They were cursing families. They didn't want families to have children. God. They're in a tower. They're very, very negative. They were hiding their true intentions. They're villains, pleasure seekers, fraud people, thieves, brutalizers of purity and innocence, competing with future leaders influencers, bringing mischief to their lives and their purpose by getting in the energy and then wearing a mask and doing bad things, wearing the energy and tapping into the mind as that person. These people are the worst when it comes to fraud. Like, there's identity theft, man. You survived, you're weary. This is just too much. It's like, let it be over already. You've got your freaking guard up, you're very courageous, you're very persistent. This is almost over. These people of the night who've been dominating others are at risk now. They're at risk. So they were bringing, these people of the night were bringing risk, dominating others. So they were dominating others, putting people at risk, people in the community, people who had gifts. And they've been exposed by the anomaly as a scavenger. And now the children are protected. The children are protected from these weasels' routine. They're being warned about their nature to distract people and then to hurt them. It's like gross, man. So you got insight here. You were that little golden nugget that came up and then revealed everything. And now these ones need to prepare for wrath. Wrath is upon them. And they got more wrath, obviously. They got more wrath coming. You are balanced. You stayed balanced during their freaking mirror magic to cause you upheaval. They wanted you in upheaval. They did lots of work on that. Lots of people, hundreds of them. And you were able to stay balanced throughout it all. So, these ones were curious about your abundance, about your luck. They were spying on you mentally. They were astral projecting into your house, looking at what you had, finding out. And now you're leaving, you're soaring, you're going in a new direction. It's like you're out of here and you're taking your abundance with you. Those who are committing trickery or offering resistance, they don't want to go. They still want to communicate with you, but you're alone. You're alone. They might have wanted to leave you alone. They were communicating with you while you were isolated. They were trying to mess with your mind, jack you around, put you in South Node with these negative influence, feeding on your energy, committed to emptiness, man. These guys were committed to emptiness, cursing the heart bonds of married people. I hope this brings clarity to something you already intuitively knew. I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.